My comments and inbox have been filled with people asking, nearly begging me to react to the TheOdd1sOut first Nuzlocke, to do one of my epic old school takedown videos of it, where I use my thousands of hours of Nuzlocke experience to absolutely dunk on an inexperienced player like James. And I honestly didn't really feel like making that video. If you paid attention during chapter 2 of the Run and Bun video, you'll know that I've put the days of lazy react content behind me. PokemonChallenges literally dies in the third ad read of that video. I'm done. I've moved on. But then I saw his video, and oh boy! TheOdd1sOut starts his Nuzlocke journey by picking Mudkip as his starter, and it should come as no surprise that this makes both the first and the third gym badge a non-issue for our protagonist. Mudkip is considered the strongest starter for a Gen 3 Nuzlocke, with its fantastic typing giving it only one weakness to a type that the player only ever has to face when fighting their rival. There's basically no other mandatory grass trainers in the entirety of the Hoenn region. The Mudkip line has a fantastic learn set, notably having the strongest mid-game move out of the 3 options in Mudshot. James's early game encounters are about what you would expect from Pokemon Ruby, Poochyena, Zigzagoon, and Taillow, as well as Shroomish, who will evolve into his favorite Pokemon Breloom. He says the nickname was chosen because he recently made a video about goats, but I checked his channel and I didn't see anything about Wacko 2 there. While Poochyena is pretty much exactly as terrible as you remember, and Breloom is in my opinion quite overrated, we also have 2 quality Nuzlocke staples here. Fans of the channel have already heard me talk about Swellow about 277 times, but I'd like to give it a little attention to Zigzagoon. James delegates this guy to HM employee when he catches it, as he deems it too weak, despite seeing this interaction between a wild Zigzagoon and his Poochyena only a few minutes earlier. Oh my god. Like many other early game normal types, learning a powerful stab move this early gives it a massive head start on the game's power curve. Stab stands for shake that ass bitch, let that coochie breathe. Wait, no, sorry. It stands for same type attack boost, which just refers to the inherent mechanic in Pokemon that makes attacks that have the same type as the attacker 50% more powerful. This elevates 70 base power headbutt to 105 base power, and incredibly boomed this early in the game. Granite Cave, right before the second gym, provides the scenery for one of the many controversial moments in the TheOdd1sOut first Nuzlocke. A moment of blatant cheating, which is something that I would never do. Wait, what is this doing on screen? Get the hell out of here. Like many unfortunate Nuzlockers before him, James encounters an Abra here, a powerful encounter balanced by the fact that you will sometimes not be able to catch it because it uses teleport to get away from you. This is understandably frustrating, as the standard ruling for Nuzlockes here is that you lose your encounter entirely when this happens. There is, however, counterplay. Throwing a Pokeball on turn 1 instead of clicking Leech Seed improves your odds of catching the Psychic type to 27%, up from 0. Saving one of the Great Balls you get early increases this cast chance even further. Adding on to this, you can even delay this encounter using Repels until you make it to Verdant Turf Town, where you can buy Nest Balls, a Pokeball that is better the lower level the enemy Pokemon is. These balls are actually quite overpowered before Generation 5 and have a higher catch rate than Ultra Balls on Pokemon below level 20. The level 8 Abra James encountered would have had a 99.994% chance to get into a Nest Ball. Diving even deeper into potential tryhard strategies, taking this encounter in Steven's room and repelling with a level 9 or 10 Pokemon at the front of your party will, because of the way the levels of these encounters are distributed, guarantee a Makuhita here. This eliminates the chance for an Abra entirely and secures a guaranteed to be useful fighting type. Maybe figuring out these little tricks is fun for you, or maybe you enjoy the tension of throwing a ball at a valuable Pokemon that you know is about to flee from battle. In this case, the rule set used by most Nuzlockers, which doesn't allow a reroll after a teleport, might be the right fit for you. What also might be the right fit for you is this channel, because I cover the nitty-gritty details of really difficult Nuzlockes here all the time, and I play them myself. Subscribe if you're into that. We're almost at that million. You might expect me to have a strong opinion on what could easily be seen as a clear rule violation of the original Nuzlocke rules here, but if I want you to take away anything from this video, it's that people who are really into Nuzlockes just don't care. There isn't one central agreed upon rule set. Everyone plays differently. Nuzlockes are simply a loose framework. I guess if you don't know what a Nuzlocke is, it's pretty easy. It's basically just 2 rules. 1, you have to catch the first Pokemon in every route, and 2, if you're gonna suck it, you have to do it from the back. We'll get to that in another video. Today's video is brought to you by Fabletics. I don't know how you've been spending your summer, but I've been really into rock climbing this year. You might not know that I'm into rock climbing. I only talk about it like twice per stream. The sponsor of today's video, Fabletics, has been helping me feel extra comfortable in my skin when I'm sweating at the bouldering gym. Personally, I've been rocking their training day shirts, which are lightweight, super breathable, sweat wicking, and super stretchy for those V4 dinos. The real star for me though, gotta be the One shorts. Check these out, okay? So you've got zippable pockets, so you don't lose your phone, right? Easy. But then, there's a plot twist. Not to be indecent here, there's another pocket here underneath in the lining. Can you believe that? That's 4 pockets in one short. My favorite feature though gotta be this towel loop that they include. You can hang your towel from it or whatever, but I just use it to loop in my chalk bag. Got that with me when I'm climbing, and I can, you know, reach in and get the chalk on my hands and stuff, and now I'm supposed to touch my keyboard and mouse with this, so I gotta go wash my hands. I'll be right back. There's many more products like this on Fabletics' website. If you're interested, I think you should check out their VIP program. If you sign up for the VIP program, you'll get an insane 80% discount on your first order with them. Afterwards, you save up to 50% daily as a member. Every month, you'll get 1 credit as a VIP member, which you can use to get a 2-piece outfit or any product up to $100. There's also monthly drops, early access, VIP-only sales, and a free membership to their Fit app. Like their shirts, Fabletics' VIP program is super flexible. You can skip any month if you cancel by the 5th of that month, and you won't be charged for it. So, you know, video games are cool and all, but also get out there, get active, and use my link to sign up for Fabletics VIP to get an 80% discount on your first order. Thank you, Fabletics, for sponsoring this video. Nuzlocke are usually defined by catch the first encounter on every route, Pokemon that are faint or dead, and then depending on the game or mod you play, or what you're trying to get out of the challenge for yourself, you can add on to or modify the existing rule set as you desire. It really is your run, your rules. It's up to you as the runner to define what the rules are that you are going to have the most fun with. And on this day, James chose to catch not the first, but the second encounter in Granite Cave, because he felt like it was the most fun. Trust me, the only people giving him shit for this are people who aren't even part of the Nuzlocke community. People that don't have a lot of Nuzlocke experience themselves and have a warped view of what this challenge has become over the past 10 years. Second badge in hand, thanks to an expected performance by Taylor and Marshtomp, the TheOdd1sOut enters the Mauville City Casino. Disappointed that he cannot pick up an encounter here. We can only conclude that he previously played a lot of Nuzlockes at the Pokemon mod Run and Bun, which has an excellent casino encounter mechanic that gives you better Pokemon based on how many badges you have. His frustration here as a Run and Bun veteran is understandable. It is worth noting that he does completely ignore the list of TMs on sale at this casino, which consists of the best TMs in the game. I assume this is because James cannot read, as is evidenced by the fact that he's wearing a Magic the Gathering jacket. Getting yourself access to these TMs is one of the biggest power upgrades you can give to your party at this point in time. The main problem is that these are quite expensive, and unlike in real life, the casino in Hoenn is not literally the most fun thing on planet Earth. Ruby and Sapphire also notably lack any efficient way of grinding money because there's no ability to rematch trainers. James is missing some encounters at this point, namely the fishing encounters from Dewford and its surrounding routes. This would grant him a guaranteed Gyarados and Tentacool. Instead, after rolling through Watson's forest of Tesla coils, he moves straight on to the next route. He picks up Numel as an encounter, which I'm actually quite fond of, as I explained in my last video. I'll really quickly recap it here for you, and it's dead. Okay, I guess I don't really have to explain it now. Zangoose is insane in Ruby. Swords Dance early and high speed make it an excellent setup sweeper for most boss fights. This Pokemon has great stab options and strength, runs Shadow Ball, a physical move in this gen for coverage. Its bulk is great for this point in the game, and god, this little critter is the perfect combination of badass and cute. It's literally my favorite Pokemon of all time. I love him so much. Seriously, my friends know that I love Zangoose so much. Jane Animations literally got me this giant Zangoose plushie, and just look at him. Just look! Look at him! The normal type shows off its power right away by killing James's Numel with nothing more than a quick attack crit, despite the cow being 9 levels up. Even I was quite surprised at this damage roll. In fact, it surprised me so much that I decided to jump into a damage calculator and see for myself. Zango's quick attack crit dealt 50 damage here. The only way that this is physically possible is if the Zangoose Swords danced once or leered twice prior to Numel dying. Zangoose is a scary encounter. Pretty much the only counterplay he had here was repeated Mightyena pivots to stack Intimidates. Zangoose makes it onto his team, and in the next fight we see that he has in fact taught its strength. Genuinely a great call. Although we can also notice, when looking at his moveset more closely, that he deleted both Swords Dance and Quick Attack. Literally two of the most powerful tools this Pokemon has to offer. Zangoose will, unfortunately, like many other Gooners, never live up to its full potential. Our hero now finds himself faced with a classic Nuzlocking conundrum. He wants to teach his Breloom Counter, an actually great move for the next gym, but doesn't have room for it because he taught it Flash. The intended way to do this is locked behind the move deleter in Lily Cove City, 3 whole badges away. James doesn't know this, and I can't believe this, somehow figures out that you can delete HM moves by sticking your Pokemon in the daycare until they learn a new move? How? Literally how? It's not just the daycare, you also have to put the HM move in a specific position so that it actually gets deleted next. This is tech used by Emerald Kaizo runners. I remember the dedicated hardcore Nuzlocke community figuring this exact mechanic out in a 15-person Twitch chat in like 2019. How the hell does he just casually stroll into this while not knowing about the move deleter? This is the equivalent of someone making new plates in their pottery studio before every meal because they can't figure out how to use a dishwasher. Speaking of kilns and getting washed, James's Flannery fight goes extremely poorly. But honestly, this is to be expected. I consider this fight to be one of the most deviously crafted boss battles in the whole series. Torkoal is a physical defense tank, but is lacking in special defense. The Slugmas setting up either Light Screen or Sunny Day shore up this weakness. The reason this is so clever is because we are in Gen 3, meaning that whether a move is physical or special depends only on its type. You can easily remember which types are physical and which are special. If the type has an evolution associated with it in any game, or is Dragon, it's special. Otherwise, it's physical. Notice how the only type fire is weak to on the special side is water. Sunny Day, reducing water damage by half, therefore makes this Torkoal basically unkillable. It also makes its overheats hit harder than a McDouble after a night of drinking, and once the turtle has sufficiently reduced its special attack, it will just start spamming paralyzing body slams and attracts all over your team. There's no shame in losing a few Pokemon to this beast. There is, however, shame to be found in James's comment when he says, "It was a super effective move, and it only did this much," after using a 40 base power water gun. Type matchups aren't everything, James. The base power numbers are right there in the game. Is this what you wanted? Huh? Is this what you asked for when you clicked this? He didn't play around the crit. Oh, always count your damage. Also, why is he so blatantly overleveled in this fight? Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. PokemonChallenges came through there for a second. I just still can't believe he's really dead. He does make a pretty good play in this fight, sacrificing one of his Pokemon to get a heal turn with potions onto Marshtomp. That's advanced item usage right there. James marches on and miraculously makes it through the normally potent 5th gym without any casualties. This is definitely one of the fights I would have liked to see more of. It seems like at this point in the run, our player has reached what Nuzlockers refer to as critical mass. Enough powerful encounters and few enough deaths to keep their run going throughout the endgame. With honestly pretty good positioning, he forces his way through Winona's terrifying Dragon Dance, or DD, Altaria, also known in the community as DD Mega Doodoo. Again though, these levels are kinda high. I guess I've just been playing with the no overleveling rule too much. I do want to highlight a position on the Lily Cove rival where James shows his ass, so to speak. King Eater, the Claydol, fails to kill May's Grovyle, leaving it at a sliver of health after taking about 40% damage from the opponent's Leaf Blade. Now, viewers of the channel might already notice that Claydol is in crit range here, from a high crit move nonetheless, so he should play around that by switching out. Wait, I think I just got a bingo. But that's not even why staying in here is a misplay. This Claydol is actually guaranteed to be dead. Grovyle is in Overgrow, its ability that increases grass type damage when the user is at 1/3 or lower HP. The 50% damage boost Grovyle receives from this ability is exactly enough to turn the initial 40% hit into a lethal 60% hit, and Claydol is wiped out. Now, I don't actually blame James at all for not seeing this. I blame every single developer at Game Freak. This is something I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I finally have an excuse for it. Why? Seriously, why is there no indication to the player whatsoever when a Pokemon is in Overgrow, Torrent, or Blaze range? These are the abilities that every single starter in the series has, and in the 23 years since Ruby and Sapphire have come out, there hasn't been a single attempt to build a mechanic that tells the player when these abilities are active. You literally have to do mental arithmetic if the Pokemon is on your side, or just guess when it's on the opponent's side. How has this made it past playtesting for so long? They even introduced the little visuals that pop up for activating abilities in Gen 5, but left them out for the abilities that literally every player will have? It's such a significant part of how these starter Pokemon function. It doesn't even tell you at what HP range the abilities activate in the description. Look at this. This is what it says about the ability in the game. What is anyone supposed to get from this? I seriously believe that this is actually one of the most fundamental failings of old Pokemon games in general. The complete refusal to communicate basic information about core mechanics to the player. There's so many examples of this. Sorry, I've been holding this rant in for years, okay? Junichi Masuda, Ken Sugimori, Doug Bowser. I know you're listening and have printouts of my tweets about Kirby's foreskin in your big black "do not collaborate with these creators" folder. That's not a joke. I'm pretty sure they actually have that folder. Reconsider this, okay? Please. Oh, they did? Wait, for Legends EA? By doing what? By removing abilities entirely. Oh, that's great. That's fucking great. That's so great. No, that's an amazing solution. Yeah, they should just remove base power as a mechanic as well. It's not like casual players are looking at it, right, James? By the way, do you guys also think Ninetales is kind of... One of the biggest differences between Ruby Sapphire versus Emerald can be seen in the final 2 gym fights, where the hardest double battle of Emerald becomes pretty much trivial with the twins only having 2 Pokemon, and Juan's run ending double team Kingdra is nowhere to be found. James enters the Elite Four with what I would most certainly call an underdog team. Literally, there's like 3 dogs on that team. 4 if you count James. What his team lacks in coherence and a reliable Ice-type counter, it makes up for in levels. The standard level cap for an Elite Four by most Nuzlocke rules is the highest level of the Elite Four, excluding the champion. For Ruby and Sapphire, this would mean no going higher than level 55. Okay, seriously, why do I keep harping on this? This isn't a hardcore Nuzlocke, it's not even part of his rule set. Who cares if James goes over the standard Nuzlocke cap by a few levels? Did I say myself that every runner has their own rules? To be clear, I'm not bringing this up to accuse James of cheating. I really don't care what he does in his runs, and I'm not trying to discredit him. It seems like the rule set he chose led him to have fun with this run, and if there is one correct way to play a Nuzlocke, that's probably how you do it. I do, however, want to use this opportunity to explore why levels matter, why I think level caps are really important for Nuzlocke rule sets, and why the game quickly becomes trivial if you don't use level caps. Stick with me here, this last part is going to involve some math. Stat calculation in Pokemon is actually quite simple. Every stat on every Pokemon has an associated base stat, an IV from 0 to 31 that they're born with, and an EV that starts at 0 and increases when you kill enemy Pokemon. You take the base twice, the IV once, and a quarter of the EVs, and add them all together. To apply the level as a modifier, we multiply the whole number by the level of the Pokemon, and then divide the whole thing by 100. Or you can simply think of it as multiplying the stat by a number between 0.01 and 1, depending on the Pokemon's level. Finally, we add a flat 5 to the whole thing, and apply nature modifiers, times 1.1 for positive, and times 0.9 for negative natures. That's it. That's the stat. It seems relatively complicated, but honestly, once you get a feel for this, it's really not all that hard. I've actually taught myself to calculate enemy Pokemon speed in my head using this formula. Most ROM hacks I play completely remove EVs from the game, making this a little easier. So to see the impact of overleveling in Elite Four, let's look at the stats of a level 55 Swampert, here called Patrick, and compare them to the stats of a level 62 Swampert, here called SpongeBob. None of what's in these big terms here matters, as it's the same on both sides, the EV, the IV, the base stats. Patrick's stats are simply 55% of whatever this number is, while SpongeBob's stats are 62% of whatever this number is. It's not entirely accurate because of the constant +5 at the end, but at stats at this level that becomes more and more negligible. To compare these two stat lines directly, we can also divide 62 by 55, giving a factor of 1.126. This means that SpongeBob's stats are 12.6, or about 1/8 higher than Patrick's stats. All of them. Not just will SpongeBob deal 12.6% more damage, he will outspeed 1/8 more Pokemon, resulting in entirely free turns that Patrick could have never had. And he doesn't just take 12.6% less damage either, because that 1.126 factor is applied to both his defenses and his HP, meaning the number of attacks he can survive over Patrick is even higher than 1/8. SpongeBob is not just 1.126 times faster than Patrick, because all of these effects compound. Surviving more attacks lets you get more attacks in yourself. Outspeeding more often means you have to take less attacks in general, and the attacks that you do take end up dealing less damage to you, giving you more opportunities to speed other Pokemon. If this all went over your head, I'm just trying to say levels matter so much more than you think. And we can see this in James's Elite Four. His Pokemon are constantly surviving moves and killing enemies that my level capped Nuzlocker brain is telling me he has no business surviving and killing. My intuitions I've built over 10 years of hardcore Nuzlocking are completely off here. And you know what? I love that. I love that every time I watch someone else Nuzlocke, I get to see a new perspective on these games I've sunk in so many hours into. The fact that there are as many Nuzlocke rule sets as there are Nuzlockers means we constantly get to see new sides of these games, even jaded veterans like me. I think I've realized over the past few years that when you stop viewing Nuzlocks as this one monolithic challenge that everyone needs to overcome in the same way, and instead start viewing them as a way to tell a cool story about a Pokemon playthrough, this niche online Nuzlocking scene really stands out as something unique and special. I think what makes James's run so compelling is that blue-eyed eagerness he played this run with. His loose approach to the framework of rules ironically makes this challenge seem more earnest and real. When I watch this video, I see someone truly trying their best in a difficult Pokemon run, and that's fun to watch. When I lose Pokemon on my stream, everyone laughs at me, because I'm supposed to be the guy who's got it all figured out, who's optimized these games to their core. When James loses his favorite Pokemon and his starter on the champion fight, I feel for him. I feel that genuine connection he had with them. And when he stands at his dead Pokemon's wake after beating the game, the feeling I'm left with is that I just witnessed a pretty cool story.